Hello everyone, Jennifer here with Talking Training with Trades. Bringing to you another thought or way of thinking about things I want to discuss with you. I've heard from several of you working on different issues or mindsets or how you can create change in your program or even technology that we've walked through. When I've been speaking to some of you, I had one group that mentioned that they were going through their budget and their expenses and cutting a lot of their expenses down, seeing where they could really save money because they felt like, doom, fear, they were uncertain on how long this would last. And I completely understand where they're coming from. It is a little bit of a scary, uncertain time right now. But I want you to think about this from a broader level. During that same conversation, this individual, this director of an apprenticeship program, was mentioning that he's really nervous about his apprentices going to work. His biggest concern was there was going to be vendors out there, and he was worried about these owners or vendors actually going out on the job and continuing to do the work to put the apprentices back on the job, as well as the journey workers, because without the journey workers, there's no contributions into the apprenticeship program. So because of that long line of fear-based thinking, they were looking at cutting as many expenses as possible to really hone in on how they can save money as much as possible in their program. So I want to challenge a little bit this thinking process that this individual is going through in case you happen to be there too. And if you think about the fact that you are trying to not save money at all, and that's your number one strategy on how you're going to get through this, what if that's also your vendor's number one strategy on how they're going to get through this? So here your biggest concern is you need those vendors or those owners of the jobs to get your guys or your staff, journey workers, females out to the job. But your philosophy is if we tighten up as much as possible and don't spend any money, we're protecting ourselves. If your vendors also are thinking that way, then you're not going to have anyone out working. The challenge here is whether you want to lead based out of fear and uncertainty and trying to close everything off, or do you want to take more of a positive, inspired based approach that you know everything's going to be okay? What steps do you take in your program to come out as strong as possible? What can you do within your organization? Where can you invest some money to try to realize the potential on how you can make big changes? Another example I was speaking to somebody that mentioned that they were really worried. They had many staff issues and their apprentices just weren't very proud of their organization. And I go, all right, so that's what's going on before you even went into this coronavirus pandemic right now. And they're like, yes, it is. And I was like, that issue is still going to be there if you went back online in a week or two. What could you be focusing on now to really drive that change for your organization so your apprentices are more proud? It's like they come back and it's a different organization, a much better organization. You're a much better leader for them. How can you shift into that mindset of thinking, what can I do now to really blow everyone away on how we respond to what's going on with this coronavirus pandemic? Because ultimately, that's what you need those vendors to be thinking, and you want them to be seeing the path forward out of this so they, as soon as possible, get workers back out on the job sites. So if we all start looking that way about life and how we're going to respond to it, we get everyone back to work and we get things back online as soon as possible. So look inside and see, what kind of message are you bringing to everyone in your organization? Are you based out of fear and shutting down and tightening up? Or are you really looking forward on how you can expand, make investments now that's really going to serve you long term in your organization? Reach out if you want to talk to me further about this. I'm happy to have this conversation. I know it's tough out there, but I want to support you as much as possible. Take care.